Welcome to another episode of All Things Authentic. We are excited and grateful as always that you are tuning in with us today and another great episode topic for us. And so we hear so much about intrusive thoughts. And so today we're answering the question of, are intrusive thoughts normal? So we'll answer that question and I think just give more information on exactly what intrusive thoughts are, maybe how they differ from other thoughts. Because I think there's kind of this misperception also of what they are. So a quick definition for intrusive thoughts. What deciphers it between other thoughts is really the content, right? Like our mind's filled with so many thoughts. So not every single thought is an intrusive thought. But usually intrusive thoughts, the content is maybe violence, maybe it's explicit, sexual, maybe something that's socially inappropriate. Right? So that kind of deciphers between some of our other thoughts. And this is another key aspect though too. So they're unwanted usually, and sometimes they're unexpected in nature also. And so it's not the same as common worries we have or desires that we have, or if we ruminate on certain things. Those are a little different because those are normal thoughts versus things that are just maybe jarring to us or why am I having this thought? But the content is usually extreme with the intrusive thoughts. So I don't know if you've seen on social media, it's kind of this theme of posts where it's this person let their intrusive thoughts win, right? And so, in a lot of the posts, it's just funny videos, people doing silly things, but the caption's always they let their intrusive thought win. A recent one I saw was kids always let their intrusive thoughts win, and it was a little kid doing swimming lesson. They were 3 or 4 probably, and the instructor's in the water okay, feet first, jumping into the water. I feel like she kept repeating feet first, and the kid all of a sudden just does this belly flop into the into the water, right? So the caption's the kid let their intrusive thought win. Where really with kids, it's just a completely different thought process. Really, that's probably not an intrusive thought. Sure. But we'll kind of discuss what the difference is.
But it may be the instructor's intrusive thought.
Yeah, right. So I guess, does anything come to mind for you? And have you been hearing or seeing things more recently about intrusive thoughts?
I feel I have seen more and I think heard more. Just it comes up with clients, it comes up with myself, and I've seen some videos on Instagram about intrusive thoughts. A lot of them related to parents, motherhood, and new moms and stuff. Yeah. So those definitely, I was oh yeah, I can relate to this, and I also work with some people who have intrusive thoughts.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, when we get more into the psychology of some of the intrusive thoughts, that is a huge one of new mothers and some of the thoughts that they have. So when you think about some of your thoughts that actually might be intrusive thoughts, would you say you experienced them, which it sounds like you have experienced them, and is there a way that you handle them? And are there you don't have to share all your deep and darkest thoughts, but to maybe give some examples, are there certain thoughts that maybe pop up for you?
Yeah, I don't think I know. I mean, I think I typically have worried or anxious thoughts, but the intrusive part, the intrusive thoughts, I don't think I either had them or really recognized them or noticed them until postpartum. Okay. And a lot of them are around just kind of crazy things that could happen to my child. And it draws me to then, I won't give into them, the crazy thing won't happen, but I'll give into them in the way that I will do something to prevent that wild thought from happening. So, and it's the same thing, I saw this on Instagram, one of the new moms' intrusive thoughts was maybe they might slip and fall with their baby. And so they're doing odd things to walk down the stairs. That's definitely me. Or the other one, oh, my baby might stop breathing during the sleep, so they go check the breathing. Do you know how many times I would check my son's breathing when he was first born? Multiple times. And then I would get in the bed and I'd be don't do it, don't get up, don't get up, don't get up. And I'd be oh, F it, I gotta go. And then I'd get out that bed and it would just be prolonging my sleep. And now I don't check him that often,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not going to lie. I still, to this very day, and my son's about to be 3, I still check him every night. At least one time. I'll go in there like, oh, good night, sweet boy. But he's asleep. And then I'll just put my hand on his stomach like, okay, he's breathing. Let me go.
Yeah.
So I never had those kind of things before. I don't know that that's the best way to handle it. I'm just telling you how I as a person do.
No, yeah. And it's like normal,
Mm-hmm.
right? I guess how do you decipher if you feel it's abnormal or not? But I'm assuming a lot of the other moms you talk to and work with will say they do the exact same thing. So obviously it's normal. But is there a way you kind of assess, like, is this normal? Am I doing too much?
I think, well, sometimes, maybe I'll get feedback from other people that maybe I'm doing too much, or I think like when he was first born, what I will say is the frequency, the amount of checks was like excessive.
Mm-hmm.
And like it would interrupt my sleep because I'm constantly getting up and down. I mean, I don't know how many times, but probably a dozen times. And that's just excessive. And I think like it would prolong sleep that I wasn't getting. So I think that's like an example of when I might say, oh, I probably could have dealt with that differently so that I didn't interrupt my sleep. And sometimes I would tell myself, well, just like, just test it out tonight, like just test it out tonight, just do it one time and then like see in the morning. And then like, once you see in the morning, like you'll see like, he's okay, he's fine. You've checked, everything is safe. His crib is clean, it's safe, nothing there. I don't know if I ever got to that really, but that is one way that I might have checked myself.
Yeah. And do you think, because a lot of the psychology, when you get to it will tell us that soon the thoughts will kind of disappear, right? Unless sometimes they do take up a lot of your time and energy, then you know that like maybe I should seek help about this. But usually they disappear at some point, hopefully. But something like that with like a mother's worry and anxiety, do you see it disappearing anytime, or do you think it's normal that that's just a common thing that mothers will always have?
Yeah, I think some of it is connected maybe to just like the desire to protect your child. And so I think like that maybe innate thing that maybe many people have when they become a parent or a mom. I think maybe that desire maybe doesn't go away, but probably for me at least, like I don't go in his room and check him 13 times a night anymore. Like the one time is sufficient. Yeah. And even that is probably like, girl, you don't need to be checking him out.
But you've seen it shift. It's decreased.
It's decreased. So I feel proud and I'm okay with holding on to that one time.
Yeah. I like that dialogue you would go through too. It's like, don't go check him, don't go check him, and then you just like give in. Yeah. So yes. Okay. Some of mine, you can see if you relate to some of these. But it's nice to kind of go through these because I'm sure listeners are like, okay, I'm not the only one. And I think that's why it's important to have this discussion and answer this question of like, are intrusive thoughts normal? And already a few minutes into the episode, we're really validating like, obviously these things are normal. We all have them. Okay. So a few I have. Okay. One, I think it's like pretty common. And I should have got the name of the exact theory. There's like a theory behind it, like something about some bridge type theory. But do you have the thought? I know this probably have it. If you're like on a bridge, I'm not really walking on a bridge, but right on a bridge, even if I'm at a hotel and have a balcony and it's high up, right? You have this quick, strange thought of like, what if I just jump off, right? And it's like, and it's really not rooted in, at least for me, not like a suicidal attempt or anything. But some people do struggle with like suicidal ideation and maybe have those thoughts. But again, it's just random, but that speaks to literally what intrusive thoughts are. It's like, it's unexpected, unwanted. And another small piece was like, it's not within your character either.
Right.
So you think like, why am I thinking this? So, do you ever have that one?
I have thoughts. I think so. Like I have a lot of different like intrusive thoughts that are similar. Like where like I don't like there's the desire, the want is not there to maybe die or hurt myself, but maybe it's a thought of like, oh, like this is a possibility. I kind of feel like maybe it's nature's inborn like way of like protecting, like, it's like this could happen. So like protect yourself. That's kind of how I perceive it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, within that theory, I know I didn't prepare with the name, but
You can get it after.
But it was alluding to that of like, if you maybe have that thought, then you think, okay, let me actually take a step back.
But be careful, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Another one, and it's half like road rage. I don't really have huge road rage, but sometimes you get upset driving. And so sometimes I've had the thought of like, this car better not pull up to me or say like, I wish I will take something out of my car and throw it at their car, which is just like crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that, hopefully. And again, I don't like character. Yeah, I'm really not like that angry of a person, but maybe if I get taken to that point, I will get out this car. But I'm like, come on, like I'm not a fighter, so like stop it. Right? Stop. But then you think like, if I gotta get to that point, I will. But then I'm like, why am I having this thought? No one is worried about me, like on the road. Like, come on. So, so that's one I'll have sometimes.
No, go ahead. Well, I was thinking about road stuff. I don't know if this is an intrusive thought. Tell me what you think. Like sometimes I don't have the thought about me doing something, but I will have the thought that if I go up against another car, like, oh, what if they do something to me? And then, girl, sometimes I'll be like ducking or like I'll time it, like, okay, go past them. I think it's just me watching too much TV.
I don't know why that's so funny. Not just acting out this stuff too. So people will soon learn that it's normal, and we even go through this whole thing with these thoughts. I'm like crying. And then I think it's important to validate, normalize. Like I know the definition talks about, they're violent thoughts, maybe like self-harm, sexually explicit, socially inappropriate things. Sometimes the intrusive thoughts can be rooted in like a self-doubt or just negative thoughts of self. And it's a fine line because some of those thoughts are just like a critical voice and things like that. But sometimes they like come out of nowhere too. And I just recently thought about watching like an interview of someone. And I was like, dang, they're like about my age, really like a year younger. And I'm like, dang, they've accomplished a lot. I'm not doing nothing with my life. Where I just have that thought where then I'm like, okay, come on. Like first they're like this huge celebrity. So obviously I don't have all that acting talent and stuff. But also, like, I've done some stuff. Come on. But that I feel that sometimes that intrusive thought of, like, you're not doing anything. And it does just make you feel bad after, too, sometimes. So, so I think that's kind of a variety of some of my intrusive thoughts at times. I think those are the main ones I can think of. So,
relatable.
Yeah. So definitely normal thoughts, right? We all have them for sure. But I think it's important to maybe decipher between like different types of thoughts.
Thanks for tapping in to All Things Authentic. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. For full episodes, find All Things Authentic on your favorite podcast listening platform.